What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. I do hope you are doing well and everything is okay in your world. I know we're all a little bit disappointed. If you could see on the screen and kindly follow my socials for me, please. So make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you've got your notifications turned on. Make sure that you are commenting, sharing, hyping, all of the good stuff. Also, as well, I'm on all of your favourite podcast apps. So Spotify, Apple, for example. So if you are listening to audio versions, please make sure that you are giving those a like as well, just to help with the algorithm side of stuff. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, I'm going to talk about the game last night against Sunderland. Let's see. It's taken me until now to be able to properly sit down and sort of do a kind of little review about it. And I'm not going to do the usual stuff where I talk about the statistics and I talk about other little bits and pieces that might be of, you know, preference or relevance to it. What I want to talk about is things that are happening or things that happen within the game that just annoyed the living shit out of me. That's two ways of saying it. The first thing that I'm going to say, hands down, straight away, Sunderland absolutely shithoused and gamed their way to that win. And as much as it annoys me, you have to give them props. You have to say fair play. They had a depleted squad. They had players missing, and they came with a particular type of game plan, and it, in the end, ended up working for them. So fair play, they walk away with 3 points. That's them probably pretty much guaranteed to be safe now. So congratulations to Sunderland. Now, with regards to Leeds, I wasn't happy with the lineup. I felt that although that lineup was attacking against Man City, that's the third time that lineup has been used in such a short space of time. I don't think we needed Gruev and Ampadu in the same squad, particularly at home, particularly against a depleted squad, I felt that when I was at the game, obviously I was at the game with Jerry last night, but I constantly found Ampadu and Gruev occupying the same space quite a lot of the time, and it was something that I found quite frustrating as the game went on. I don't understand Bogle playing this kind of free right-sided role. It doesn't work for him, and as much as I love Justin, and I've thrown plaudits to Justin of how good he's been, it would have been better to have Bogle in that right-back position tonight, or that right-wing position tonight, and then have what I consider to be our best three centre-back pairing, which is Roden, Biol, and Strauch. For me, they're our best centre-back pairings. They all have their own unique abilities and qualities, and just in terms of rotating the squad as well, it should have worked better. DCL was so isolated the entire game, and he was getting thrown from pillar to post, but DCL was so isolated the entire game. We were playing it so slow. We were playing it left and right again. At the end of the half-time, the statistic was that, let me see if I can find it. At half-time, I can't find it now, but at half-time, the passes between Darlow, Rodon and Stroik were pretty much over 50% of our passes within the first half. In that first half, Sunderland only completed 79 passes. We completed 256. So that gives you an idea of what Sunderland were trying to do in terms of that game. Now, that game needed pace and it needed a bit of incisiveness, and we didn't get it. So for me, Farke got the selection wrong, absolutely. And like I said, you know, we've given Farke a lot of praise when he's done things that are right, but it's also important as well to recognise when things don't go quite right. I felt that everybody looked a bit knackered. Nobody looked like they were trying to penetrate enough. The build-up was too slow. There was no sort of real push to get everything going. Then we really didn't create anything too much either that I can remember. I just remember getting more and more frustrated as the game went on, but I'll come on to that. It was just an all-round disappointing performance, and I think for everybody, we've gotten so used to being quite on the up a lot of the time, and we weren't last night. We just weren't at the races. I have to say as well, the crowd was very, very flat last night. It wasn't its usual kind of raucous self. It was kind of very much in patches and in patches. The Sunderland away support were really, really good as well. But just overall, everything wasn't ticking, and things just weren't going sort of not in our favour, but just generally overall. And then I've mentioned it in terms of the way that Sunderland played. Sunderland were out to disrupt. Sunderland were out to stall the play, make the play as bitty as possible. You know, players laying down, feigning injury, the referee just allowing it to happen and just letting them get on with it. It was a very, 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 very frustrating game of football to watch. It was absolute dog's doo-doo in terms of a game to watch. And as I said to Sunderland, fair play. They came to game it, they came to shithouse it, and they got away with it, and they did it. And you can't be mad at Sunderland for doing it. You can't be mad at Sunderland for the way that they play football, because that's not the way that they play football, because clearly they were told that what they have to do is roll around on the floor, feign injury, break up play constantly, make it as bitty as possible, take your time with throw-ins, take your time with free kicks, take your times with the goalkeeper kicking out, etc. and so forth. They were clearly told that. The handball incidents with Ampadu, they actually showed it on the big screen, and the one thing that I will say, and I'm going to get into it with regards to the referees and VAR, is the consistency absolutely sucks in this league, because if Ampadu's being given as handball, which it is by the letter of the law, then the handball incident that we had against City should also be given as handball, because it's an unnatural position movement to bring your arm up and, you know, get and the ball to bounce off of your arm. So that's that. But then we move on to the referee side of things, and I just found myself getting more and more frustrated with what I was watching. Within the first kind of 20 minutes, we were getting on top a little bit. We were kind of dictating play and controlling play quite a lot, quite well. So their keeper was told by their technical staff to go down. Their keeper goes down in the, I believe, 20th minute, around about that time. Immediately at that point that their keeper goes down, the entire Sunderland squad walks over to Regis Lebris for a team talk. And, I mean, the crowd went ballistic, because it's the second week running that we've seen that now. And it's the third time this season that that's happened, particularly to us, where there's been an impromptu team talk that's then broken up the play and broken up the momentum that we were starting to build. Then at the end of the half, bearing in mind that this stoppage lasted for about 3 or 4 minutes, there's only 2 minutes extra that's put on. You think, okay. Second half then rolls around, and it's much more of the same, just in terms of the way that everybody was playing and what was going on. It was very stoppy-starty, very bitty, very all over the place. But from the referee's point of view, in the first half, he misses a clear arms around the throat by O'Neill, which drags Pascal to the floor during the taking of a corner kick. Now, everybody's seen the video now. Everybody knows how that goes and what they've seen. Clearly, it is a foul. There is no two ways about it. It is a foul. And this isn't just a, oh, woe is Leeds scenario. This is a situation that seems to be happening a lot of the time, and it's infuriatingly annoying across the board in the Premier League, so not just with Leeds. His arms are around his throat and he drags him down. Now, TNT Sports replayed it. Jermaine Beckford went mental. It's ridiculous. Now, Stockley Park have said that they didn't intervene because they reviewed it and there was no clear and obvious error that they could see. And I have to say, I'm sorry, but what the fuck is that bullshit response? Because he's like this. round Strauch's neck and pulling him down in the penalty area. It's laughable that goes without being noticed. And then you've got the length of time it takes him to give free kicks. There was multiple free kicks that should have resulted in yellow cards that didn't. But the one thing that I found really annoying is Diarra was booked and they get the penalty. Scored the penalty. Darlow should have saved it. But they score the penalty to go 1-0 up. Diarra then immediately runs to the crowd and jumps into the crowd, which is a bookable offence. And he wasn't booked. Now, again, this isn't me being a Leeds United fan and going, oh, woe is me, that's and Leeds United were really hard done by. But it's the consistency of referees in this league which is causing people to turn off. And unless it's their team playing, they don't want to watch, because the level of officiating is just at such a low standard. It is unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. And the amount of Sunderland players going down, feigning injury and staying down and then getting up, and nothing was done about it. Now, I know there was 12 minutes played at the end, which, fair enough. They put on a lot of time. I could have told you that they would have put on a lot of extra time at the end of the game, given what happened with Manchester City. But there's three key things, and Jer said it very, very well in his review in terms of that game where it all went wrong for Leeds. There was, actually, no, you could say 4. The selection of the team, that's 1. The performance of the team, that's 2. The way that Sunderland played the game, that's 3. Which, again, fair play, it got them the 3 points. But 4 is also the referee and the way that the referee handled that game. I was so angry. This is what, like I said, this is why I've waited so long, because if I'd done my review last night or earlier on today, I would have probably said some absolutely egregious shit, and I would have had people knocking on my door telling me that I needed to come down to the station about social media posts that I've made. So there's a cacophony of things that lead me to my decision as to where I am. And to give you an example of another thing where this is where the refs don't stamp on it, I'll put it up on the screen, but LUFC data. So in terms of from timing stuff from tonight, actual playing time was 50 minutes and 49 seconds. The time allocated for the entire match was 106 minutes and 9 seconds. VAR checks took 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Game stoppages, 105 game stoppages. The longest time that the ball was in play for the entire game was 2 minutes. Total additional time allocated was 16 minutes and 9 seconds. The total time that the ball was in play for that additional time was 9 minutes. 9. Leeds stoppages was 23 minutes and 14 seconds. Sunderland stoppages was 31 minutes and 17 seconds. The Sunderland goalkeeper, Elborg, spent 4 minutes taking 6 goal kicks. Sunderland spent 8 minutes taking 19 throw-ins, whilst Leeds spent 4.5 minutes taking 22 throw-ins. And it's like I said, it's the dark arts, and they got away with it. Absolutely fantastically got away with it. But from a refereeing point of view, you have got to be more on the ball, or the refs need to be more on the ball when it comes to teams. And I don't just mean Sunderland, and I don't want this to come across as sour grapes. Of teams doing this, because it's robbing the spectators of what they're coming to see. It's robbing. It just absolutely. I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. And just the level of inconsistencies with referees and refereeing that I've seen this season, yes, with Leeds games, has been appalling. And I'm starting to feel myself getting more annoyed now as the game goes on. So that's going to do it for this one. A bit of a weirder kind of review, if you like, but we are where we are with it, and that's just one of those things. We have to dust ourselves off. We have to go and get a result at Crystal Palace now. It's that simple. Other games haven't played tonight. Listen, we could be within 3 points by the end of today, and we need to get a grip on everything. And maybe, hopefully, this might be the rocket up the backside that these players need, and it might be the rocket up the backside that Farker also needs as well to rotate the squad, because we'd got to a situation where our squad was not it wasn't obvious who we were always going to play. And the last 3 games, it's gotten obvious. And in the last 3 games, performances have gone backwards slightly. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure your notifications are turned on. Make sure you are hyping the video for me as well. If you're listening on audio, please make sure that you give it a like and give it a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. Take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. I'll speak to you on the next one, guys. Much love. Take care. Cheers.